So let's check for this example. Use the power reducing formula to find sine to the power 4 2x. Sine to the power 4 2x. That's mean they're telling you which formula you have to use.
I just wanted to bring it to your attention, the power reducing formula is not on this.
Power reducing formula. Oh, okay. So thank you. Power reducing formula here. Okay. So they're telling you to use power reducing formula to find sine to the power 4 2x. Check to the formulas. We have sine squared to the angle u. I need to find sine to the power 4. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to say, okay, sine to the power 4 is the same thing, sine square, and there's the angle 2x square. Yes or no? Same thing, sine square to the power 2, because one of the exponents rule, x to the power 4 is the same thing, x square square. Okay? So now, how are we going to solve this one? Sine square to the 2x. What's the formula? It's going to be equal. The formula is going to be what? 1 minus cosine 2x over 2 square. Now think about that. What's the next step? And always be careful. This is the angle. Here's our angle. Who can tell me what's the next step? What I have to do? Can I take out 2 to the power 4? Because the exponent is going to be for the top and the bottom part. So 2 squared is going to be 4, right? So is that the same thing? 1 minus cosine 2x squared over 4?
Another question. Okay. For the power reducing formula for the cosine, would it be written out 1 minus cosine 2 parentheses 2x?
2 parentheses 2x. Yes, is that, yeah, because is that the right formula? So it's going to be 2x. Yes, it's the right formula. 2u. So the angle is 2x, which is the same thing, the u. That means it's going to be 2u. So here is going to be 2u. 2x. And here is the 2, and your angle is 2x. There. That means it's going to be 4x. Perfect. Now, what's the next step? Don't confuse yourself about this one, the 1 over the 4. Just take it out. Is that the same thing? 1 over 4. 1 minus cosine 4x squared. Yes or no? Now tell me, don't confuse yourself here. 1 over 4. What I'm going to do here? 1 minus cosine 4x. What do you have to do here? What are you going to do if you have 1 minus x squared?
Break it down.
How?
Multiply by itself
Yeah, that's mean FOIL it.
or FOIL. Sorry.
Yeah, that means it's going to be 1 minus x, 1 minus x, and you're going to distribute, right? Can I do the same thing here? So can I say, okay, instead of that, I'm going to say it's 1 minus cosine 4x times 1 minus cosine 4x, and FOIL it. Let's FOIL these two. 1 times 1. So here is 1 over 4. It's not going to be fit here. So 1/4. Open parentheses, 1 times 1 is going to be 1. 1 times cosine 4x is going to be negative cosine 4x. Then negative cosine x times 1, so the minus cosine 4x. Negative cosine x times negative cosine x going to be plus cosine square to the 4x. Yes or no? What is the next step? What's the next step? Can I combine these together? 1/4, 1 minus 2 cosine 4x plus cosine square 4x. I'm thinking about that. Who can tell me the next step? What's the next step?
Use the power reducing formula on cosine squared.
Yes, that's it. You're gonna use the power reducing formula here. Because this is also squared, which is exactly the same one of the second formula of power reducing formula. So I'm gonna say, okay. Write down these. So I can erase the second part. So we're gonna use the power reducing formula on this part. That means it's going to be 1/4, 1 minus 2 cosine 4x plus, on the parentheses, the reducing formula for this one is going to be 1 plus 2, no, cosine 2u. How much the u here? Cosine, how much the angle here? 4x. They're telling you you're gonna multiply the angle by 2. So the angle I have 4x multiplied by 2 is going to be 8x. Divide by 2. That's the second parentheses. Now can I take 1/2 out from the parentheses? 1/4, 1 minus 2 cosine 4x is just simplifying plus 1/2 and plus 1/2 on cosine 8x/2. Now what's the next step? What's the next step? You have 1/4 outside the parentheses. Can you distribute 1/4 for everything so we can combine the lactams? I have a number here and I have a number here. So now if I take 1/4 times 1 going to be 1/4. 1/4 times 2. 2/4 cosine 4x. 1/4 times goes to plus 1/8 plus cosine 8x. Or 1/8 cosine. Now where is the lactams? This one and this one. Combine the lactams. That's me. 1/4. I'm just gonna add down this so you can know what I did. 1/4 plus 1/8 and minus half cosine 4x plus 1/8 cosine 8. You multiply this one by 2. Be careful, here's minus. Multiply this one by 2. Multiply this one by 2. So it's gonna be 2/8 plus 1/8 minus 1/2 cosine 4x plus 1/8 cosine 8x. And then it's going to be 3/8 minus 1/2 plus 1/8 cosine 8x. That's it. I don't know how, on the side, how they're gonna ask you to plug in the answer. You can say, okay, I took the 1/8 as a common. What's the left? From the first one is going to be 3 minus 4, because 1/8 times 4 going to be 1/2. 4 cosine 4x plus cosine 8x. But if you keep it like this, it's going to be right. If you want to take the 1/8 as a common, okay? So the first thing, if you plug in this one on loop aside, they ask you right, that's it. If they say wrong, go ahead and plug in this one. Okay? On the test, both is going to be right. Here it says the angle is pi/8. If you look to the circle, can you see pi/8? No, we have pi/6, pi/2, pi/4. So how are we gonna solve this one? And I have to use the half angle formula. It's sine, so I'm gonna look to the half angle. That's what I'm going to use. Now, pi/8 in which coordinate? The first one, because it's greater than pi/6, but it's less than pi/2. So it's still on the first coordinate between 0 and it's less than pi/6. Okay, so still in the first coordinate. Now I have to use this one. Now, can you rewrite pi/8 so we can use the half angle formula? Because the half angle formula, it says you have sine an angle divided by 2. Do I have 2 here? No, because it's half the angle. So I have to put number 2 somewhere here, but how? Think about that. That's the tricky thing with these examples. Think about that. Pi/8. Can I write down pi/8 as an angle divided by 2? Pi/8. Is that the same thing? Pi/4 divided by 2? Yes or no? Can I add down the 2/1? So if I put down pi/4 times 1/2, yes or no? So it's gonna be pi/8. So can I write down pi/8 as a pi/4 divided by 2? So that means this one is equal sine pi/4 divided by 2. So here is the angle U divided by 2. Now, can I use the half angle formula? Is the first coordinate. The sine is what? Positive or negative?
Positive.
positive, because here is my angle exists here. The sign here is positive and the cosine is positive. Now, the result is going to be positive. So square root of the formula says what? 1 minus cosine u divided by 2. Yes or no? So maybe plus square root of, that's me positive. 1 minus cosine, the u is equal what?
Pi over 4.
Pi over 4. So this is the u. So pi over 4 divided by 2. That means this equal. I'm not gonna add down the positive because it's positive. So 1 minus how much cosine pi over 4? Do you know the cosine for pi over 4? Yes, which is square root of 2 divided by 2, and everything divided by 2. Now, what's the next step? What's the next step? I just need to, everything is a numbers here. No more sine, no more cosine. So how am I gonna simplify this one? Okay. No, you're talking about this one and this one? Yeah, but you can't because you have minus here. Can I combine these by get the least common denominator, right? And add these together. That's mean I'm gonna multiply this one 2 over 2. So this one is going to be this one. I'm gonna add down 1 over 1. And then multiply here by 2. And multiply here by 2. That means going to be 2 over 2 minus square root of 2 divided by 2, and everything divided by. You got it, this step? Yes or no? Just find the least common denominator, combine these together. Now, what's the next step? This one is going to be equal square root of, here is the 2 minus square root of 2, and everything divided by. Yes or no? Now, what's the next step? What's the next step? This is division, right? Can I write down this over 1? I'm working under the root, so it's okay. I'm gonna write down the top and flip the bottom part. So it's going to be 2 minus square root of 2 divided by 2 times what? 1 over 2. Now can I multiply 2 times 2? So I'm gonna add down here. It's going to be square root of 2 minus square root of 2 divided by 4. What's the square root of 4?
2.
2. So it's going to be 1 over 2. And here is the square root of 2 minus square root of 2. That's it. Don't have to simplify it anymore. It's going to be cosine pi over 4 divided by 2. That means this is the u, and then it's going to be, we're gonna use the formula cosine u over 2 is still in the first coordinate. So it's going to be the square root positive 1 plus cosine pi over 4 and divide by 2. That means it's going to be the square root of 1 plus cosine pi over 4 square root of 2 divided by 2, and everything divided by 2. Is that the same process? The only difference is what? The sign. There's negative, and now we have positive. So the same thing here is going to be square root of, this is over 1 over 1. So I'm gonna multiply by 2, multiply by 2. So it's gonna be 2 over 2 plus square root of 2 divided by 2, and everything divided by 2. That's mean it's going to be square root of 2 plus square root of 2 divide by 2, everything divided by 2. And then going to be square root of 2 plus square root of 2 divided by 4. 2 plus square root of 2 divided by 2. This 4 is under the root, take it out from the root is going to be 2. Now, can you find the tangent? Tangent pi over 8. You want to use the formula to find the tangent, or you can say the tangent pi over 8 is going to be sine over. Can you do that? Yes or no? You can do that, but it's going to be the same result. But if you use the formula, you're gonna get different numbers. But when you use the calculator, it's going to be exactly the same number if you don't use the formula. So don't worry about that, it's gonna be the same result. So you can say it's okay, sine pi over 8 divided by cosine pi over 8. And then the sine is divided by the cosine, which is 2 plus square root of 2 divided by 2. Can I cancel this 2 with this one? No. Square root of 2 minus square root of 2 divided by 2 plus square root of 2. Well, there's another root here. Now, can I write down everything here under one root? Can I do that? Because they are the same root, square root and square root, so I can write down everything under one root. How I'm gonna simplify this one? So you're gonna multiply. I say this is then under the root 2 minus square root of 2 over 2 plus square root of 2. I'm gonna multiply by the conjugate, which is what? Conjugate for this one, 2 minus square root of 2 and 2 minus square root of 2. So it's going to be 2 times 2, 4, 2 times going to be minus 2 square root of 2, negative square root of times 2, and negative square root of 2 times negative square root of 2, so it's gonna be plus 2. And everything divided by 2 times 2, 2 times plus minus 2 square root of 2 plus 2 square root of 2, and then minus 2. Just multiplication. These are cancelled. Be careful, you can't cancel it here. Square root of 4 plus 2 minus, combine these. So 4 square root of 2 and everything divided by 4 minus 2 going to be 2. Simplify it more. Can you simplify it more? Square root of. Can I take the 2 as a common? Going to be 3 minus 2 square root of 2 over 2. Can I cancel these? So what's the left? Square root of 3 minus 2 square root of 2 divide. That's it. So this is the result. If you use the formula, you can get different result, but it's not different result when you use the calculator with the decimal number, it's going to be exactly the same number, 1.4 something. Here is my first angle, and here is my second angle. So I'm gonna use the first formula, sine 5 theta, this is my first angle, sine 3 theta, this is my second angle. So look to the formula says it's half. Put it to the sum, so it's going to be half. I'm gonna open a bracket, what I'm gonna say, it says cosine. What's the first part? U minus. This is the U and this is the V. That means it's going to be 5 theta minus 3 theta. What's the sign here? Minus. Then it says cosine U plus V. That means 5 theta plus 3 theta. That's the part. That hard to use? Equal 1/2 cosine 5 theta minus 3 theta 2 theta minus cosine 5 theta plus 3 theta. That's it. Just using the formula. Can I do the same thing with the next example? Do you have one of the formula similar to this one? Look here, to the second one. Do you have one of the formula similar to this one? The first one is cosine, the second one is sine. Do you have cosine and sine? The last one, cosine U, sine V, okay? But what's the difference? We have 3 here. So don't worry about the 3, just keep it out. So I'm gonna keep the 3 here. I'm gonna focus here on cosine negative 8x and sine 3x. You can do that, so don't confuse yourself. Now, yes, there is a product formula similar to this one. Cosine, this is the U, and this is the V. And be careful. The whole thing here is the U, and the whole thing here is the V. Now I can use the formula. Tell me the formula says what? Here is the 3. So it's going to be half, because I'm going to use the formula here. Bracket. The first one is going to be sine. Tell me. But here's the thing. It says sine U plus V. But check the angle here. Is what? Negative. What are you gonna do with that? So I'm gonna say U. The first one is U plus V. That's mean negative 8x plus 3x. Minus or plus? Minus or plus? Minus again, sine or cosine? U, which is negative 8x, minus or plus? Minus V, which is 3x. Just using the formula. So now it's going to be 3/2, because 3 times 1, 3, 3/2, sine negative 8x plus 3x minus negative 8x minus 3x. Did we finish? Can you simplify it?
It's negative 6x or negative 5x.
The negative 5x? Why?
Negative 8.
Oh, sorry. No, it's negative 5x. Now, what's the next step? What's the next step? have to do one more step.
Negative side,
Remember, sine negative angle is negative sine x. Remember the negative angle? When you have negative sine negative angle is going to be negative sine to the angle. That means I can do this from here and here. So it's going to be 3/2 negative sine 5x minus negative sine 11x. Okay, 3/2 negative sine 5x plus sine 11x. This is the right solution, or you can just switch it. It's going to be sine 11x minus sine 5x. So both is going to be right, okay? Two sine theta plus 2 sine theta. Now they're telling you use the sum to product. So you see, I have this rule, sum to product. Which formula I'm going to use? I have sine and sine, so I can use this formula. But what I'm going to do, the formula says sine u plus sine v. But what I have here, so this is the u and this is the v. But I have, can I use the formula? No, what I have to do? What I have to do? What I have to do so I can use the formula?
You factor out
Factor out what?
2.
The 2. Yes, we can. You say, okay, here is the 2. What's the left here? Sine 3 theta plus sine theta. Now, can I use the formula on this part? Here's the 2. Don't forget that, because with the formula, you also have a 2. Times, so here is the 2. Tell me the formula. It says sine u plus v divide by 2. Yes or no? Plus what? Cosine, sine, cosine, right? Yes. U, which is 3 theta, minus v, which is theta, divided by 2. So you see, we have sum, and the result is going to be product between sine and cosine. Now 2 times 2 is going to be 4. Sine 3 theta plus theta is going to be 4 theta divided by 2, 2 theta. Cosine 3 theta minus theta, 2 theta divided by 2, cosine theta. So we convert from addition, which is sum between 2 trig function, to multiplication between 2 trig function. Okay, we use the first one. Questions so far? We're just using the formula. Now, what about this one? Cosine. It's telling you cosine 4x and cosine 2x. So I'm going to keep in my mind, this is the u and this is the v. So we're going to use the third one, cosine u and cosine v. That's mean this is u and this is v. So it's going to be 2. Going to be 2 cosine what? You're going to add to the function u plus v. That's mean 4x plus 2x divided by 2. Plus or minus? Plus or minus?
Multiplication.
It's multiplication. So it's going to be cosine u minus v over 2. Yes or no? There's going to be 2 cosine 6x over 2 cosine 2x over 2. And then it's going to be 2 cosine 3x cosine x. That's it. So here's the thing with this example, they didn't tell you which formula you're going to use, but they're telling you it's sine theta over 2. That means it's half angle. So I'm going to use the half angle formula. If I want to use the half angle formula, go ahead on the side. Sine theta over 2. The formula is says equal what? Equal square root of 1 minus cosine u divided by 2. Or theta divided by 2. That's mean to find sine theta over 2, I need to find cosine theta. Can I find cosine theta? Here's the theta. The cosine is adjacent divided by hypotenuse. Do I have this part? No. So I have to find this one. So I'm going to use Pythagorean theorem. I'm going to say, okay, this is like x. So x squared is going to be 6 squared plus 8 squared. That means x squared is going to be 36 plus 64. So x squared is going to be 100. So square root for both sides, x is going to be 10. That means cosine theta is going to be 8 divided by 10. So I'm going to go back to the formula. It's going to be equal to square root of 1 minus 8 divided by 10 and everything divided by 2. Now I need to simplify this one. 1 over 1, you're going to multiply by 2. So it's going to be square root of 2 over 2 multiplied by 10. Multiply by 10 is going to be 10 over 10 minus 8 over 10 and everything divided by 2. So it's going to be square root of 2 over 10 divided by 2. Write down the top part, flip the second part here. So it's going to be square root of 2 over 10 times 1 over 2. Cancel these. So it's going to be square root of 1 over 10. Square root of 1 is going to be 1. Keep the 10 under the root. Got it?